Hey guys, welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts overview video. Today I'm going to show you guys my entire Western collection. It's going to be everything except my Arrow Video Westerns. This is going to be DVD, Blu-ray, and box sets, and TV shows. I'm going to show you guys everything in one video, so it's probably going to be pretty long. So if you want to pause it here and go get a snack and a drink, and let's go through this together. So the first shelf, I have showed off my Wild East titles before, and I'm going to show them again because I bought this new shelf and I kind of put all my Westerns together, except for my Arrow titles because I have those in a separate room in a different shelf, and I'm going to keep all my Arrow stuff together, so don't mind that little dust. I was just cleaning off this new shelf I just recently got, so just going to go through it. And these are all the Wild East, so a couple of these are not Westerns, but I try to keep all the Wild East titles together. So this first one here is a Jess Franco film. It's definitely not a Western, but hopefully that glare won't be too bad because it's kind of dark. It's in the afternoon right now when I'm recording, and if I don't have the flash on, it's almost impossible to see. So first one here is the Wild East Spy number 3. This is Boot Hill, starring Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer. The next one is Day of Anger with Lee Van Cleef. Next one is The Violent Professionals. That is not a spaghetti western. Here is For a Few Previews More. This was a compilation disc with different previews of different spaghetti westerns and stuff. The next one here is Volume 5. This one is pretty rare, hard to find, very expensive. It's called Between God, the Devil, and a Winchester, and Johnny Yuma. Double billing. The next one is The Man from Nowhere, Volume 6. The next one is Kill and Pray, Volume 7. This one is Pistoleros, Volume 8. Ben and Charlie, starring George Eastman, one of my favorite actors, Volume 9. Here's another twin billing. This one's pretty rare, called Beyond the Law and The Grand Duel. And The Grand Duel has recently, or has since got a Blu-ray release. Not recently, it's been out for a while now, but it is on Blu-ray. If You Meet Sartana, Pray for Your Death, Volume 11. Let me pan back a little bit so we can appreciate the artwork. The next one is The Dirty Outlaws, Volume 12. Gentleman Killer, Volume 13. Anthony Stephan stars in that one. Another one that's very, very rare, almost impossible to find this one. Taste of Killing, Volume 14. I guess I should mention too, most of you guys know this already, but these Wild East DVDs were only limited to 1,000 a piece. So that's why they're pretty pricey and pretty hard to find. This is A Reason to Live, A Reason to Die, Volume 16, which has since been released on Blu-ray by Kino. Here is a Giuliano Gemma film called Fort Yuma Gold. That is Volume 17. Here is a double bill starring Klaus Kinski. This is Clint, the Nevada's Loner. And there's a Noose Waiting for You, Trinity, Volume 18. Here's a film called Jamango, Volume 19. Here is another twin billing, Hate Thy Neighbor and Django the Last Killer. Both of them have George Eastman as the villain. Here's one that is not a spaghetti western, but it is part of the Wild East collection. It is a Goliath spectacular double feature. Goliath and the Barbarians and Goliath and the Vampires. Here's another one that is not a western. It is Churchill's Leopards and Salt in the Wound. Here is a twin billing, the Forgotten Pistolero and the Unholy Four. Both of those have Blu-ray releases now by Kino. Here is 3 Bullets for Ringo. Here's a good one here starring Chuck Connors. This one is called Kill Them All and Come Back Alone, volume 23. Here is Ringo the Lone Rider and the Cobra. And the Cobra is not a western, but Ringo the Lone Rider is. Here's one that is extremely rare. This one was hard to track down. I had to pay a little bit of money for this one. This is a twin billing with Payment in Blood and Red Blood, Yellow Gold, volume 24. That's the most I paid for any title in my Wild East collection. Here is A Long Ride from Hell, which is out of print, but it does have a Blu-ray release from Code Red, so you're better off getting the Blu-ray. Here is Don't Turn the Other Cheek with Franco Nero and Eli Wallach. This one has a Blu-ray release from Kino. Here's a twin billing called Kill or Be Killed and Kill the Wicked. That's volume 27. Here is a Hunt Powers double feature, Dead Men Don't Make Shadows and Django Meets Sartana. And this one is not a wild or a western. This is more like a Euro crime double bill, Confessions of a Police Captain and Summertime Killer. The next one is another twin billing. This one's called Tequila Joe and A Hole Between the Eyes. Here is a George Hilton double bill, Full House for the Devil and The Moment to Kill, volume 30. Here's more of a crime double feature, I Am the Law and Mafia. Here is Arizona Colt and Arizona Colt Hired Gun. And if you guys pay attention to that artwork right there, that is the same movie as The Man from Nowhere. The one on the left, the one that I have my hand on, is very expensive and hard to find. This one is a little easier to find, but it's still out of print and it's still a little bit expensive. So you may be better off trying to find this one. The next title is two Gothic Westerns. You have Hands Up Dead Man, You're Under Arrest, and Revenge of the Resurrected, volume 32. Here's a Bud Spencer, Jack Palance film called It Can Be Done, Amigo. Here's one called Dead Men Don't Count and Kill and Pray. And Kill and Pray was released as a single edition later on. You'll see that in this line here. Death Rides a Horse, very good film. It has since been released on Blu-ray by Kino. Charles Bronson double feature. These are not westerns. This one is called Farewell Friend and Rider on the Rain. Another double bill, Killer Caliber 32 and Killer Adios. That is volume 36. A Place Called Glory and The Road to Fort Alamo, which was a Mario Bava film. And the last one for the first shelf is a double billing called Sartana Is Here, Trade Your Pistol for a Coffin, and Django Against Sartana, volume 38. So we will move over here to shelf 2. And we will continue with the Wild East titles. The first one here is Alive or Preferably Dead, a Giuliano Gemma film. And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is not a Western, but it also stars Giuliano Gemma. Here is a double bill called Reverend Colt, and Vengeance is a Colt 45. Here's a good one here. It's called The Brute and the Beast. It is also known as Massacre Time. Franco Nero, George Hilton, a couple of the heavyweights in the spaghetti western genre. Here is Richard Harrison starring in El Rojo, and this edition here also comes with the 2011 Los Angeles Spaghetti Western Film Festival, and they interview some of the living cast of the genre. That is volume 41. This is a really good edition to get. This one is And the Crows Will Dig Your Grave, plus The Dirty 15. Here is Nest of Vipers and Tales You Lose, volume 43. Joseph Cotten, one of my favorite actors, in The Tramplers. Couple movies here where Kinski is the bad guy, as usual. And the first one is And God Said to Cain. And the second one, Twice a Judas. Oops. Lost my spot there for a second. Here's another twin billing. Anthony Stephan, A Coffin for the Sheriff, and Johnny Garco and Anthony Stephan, Blood at Sundown, volume 46. I really enjoyed the covers that they put on these titles here. These are really cool. The next one is called Those Dirty Dogs, starring Johnny Garco, and Wanted, starring Giuliano Gemma. The next one is In a Colt's Shadow and Savage Gringo. That is volume 48. His Name Was King with Richard Harrison and Klaus Kinski, good movie. And Gunfight at High Noon, which I have not watched yet. And then here is the lone Blu-ray that Wild East put out, and this was in celebration of their 50th release, or for volume 50. And this is a Robert Woods twin billing. My Name is Pecos, and Pecos Cleans Up. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo. I wish they would have did more Blu-rays. But now it seems like Kino is doing a lot of the films that Wild East put out. So here is an Enzo Castellari film called The Wild and the Dirty, and then there's a second feature starring George Eastman called Chaco, directed by Luigi Mangini. That is volume 51. Here's a Daniel Martin double feature, The Last Tomahawk, also starring Anthony Stephan, and The Man Called Gringo, volume 52. This one is called Garingo and Two Crosses at Danger Pass. Anthony Stephan and Peter Lee Lawrence and Peter Martell. Here's May God Forgive You, I Won't, and Massacre at Canyon Grande. Sorry about that. I had to look over my phone for a second. Couldn't read that. Here's some of the newer titles. They haven't really been releasing a lot of movies, but these last 5 that I'm going to show you have been released over the last year. And this is called Sonny and Jed and the Ugly Ones. This is volume 55. Here is Adios Gringo and Blood for a Silver Dollar, both starring Giuliano Gemma. Montgomery Wood was Giuliano Gemma's pseudonym. Few Dollars for Django, starring Anthony Stephan, and 10 Killers Come From Afar, also starring Anthony Stephan. Twin billing here of Ramon the Mexican and California. And the last one is Blackjack and the Bell Star Story. So that was the entire collection. I'm only missing one, which is the very first title, and it's another compilation DVD. It's called A Fistful of Trailers, and that's the only one I'm missing. So if anybody out there has it, let me know, and if you want to sell it or trade it or gift it, you can donate it to the Walnuts Network. That would be great. Next, we're going to get into the Kino Blu-rays that I have. These are just the Kino Westerns that I have. I separated them, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the Kinos on this shelf or if I'm going to keep all my Kino collection together, but for now I just put them over here to show you guys the Westerns that I have. So these are Kino Blu-rays, and I have them alphabetized. We start with the numbers here. This is 100 Rifles, starring Jim Brown, Raquel Welch, Burt Reynolds. Try to get in a little closer so you guys can see the artwork. The next one is called Adios Sabata, starring Yul Brynner. Here is James Coburn, Telly Savalas, Bud Spencer in A Reason to Live, A Reason to Die. A Town Called Hell. Lee Van Cleef in Bad Man's River. Also has Johnny Garco in it. James Mason, some excellent actors in that one. Another Lee Van Cleef, Warren Oates, Barquero. Charles Bronson in Breakheart Pass. George Papard in Cannon for Cordoba. A lot of these I haven't watched yet, so I can't really tell you if they're good or bad, but here's another Lee Van Cleef film called Captain Apache. Lee Van Cleef and John Philip Law, Death Rides a Horse, very good film. John Maria Volante and Tomas Milian, Face to Face, music by Ennio Morricone. Good movie. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Lee Van Cleef, Eli Wallach, and of course, Clint Eastwood. Excellent movie. Here is The Long Riders. Still have yet to check that out. A film by Walter Hill. It's got to be good. I've heard good things about it. Here's another one I have yet to watch. This is The Mercenary, a Sergio Corbucci film, starring Franco Nero. Here is Lee Marvin in Monty Walsh. More Dead Than Alive, starring Clint Walker. Vincent Price is also in there. So you get to see Vincent Price. He's holding the noose right there. Vincent Price in a Western. Here is Burt Reynolds in Navajo Joe, another Sergio Corbucci film. Very good. Next one here is called Return of Sabata, starring Lee Van Cleef. Here is The Revengers, starring William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, and Woody Strode. Here's another Mario Bava Western called Roy Colt and Winchester Jack. Here's the original Sabata, starring Lee Van Cleef. William Berger's also in there. William Berger is an excellent actor. Always enjoyed him. Burt Reynolds and Sam Whiskey. Clint Walker, Ozzie Davis. Sorry about that, guys. Christopher Walken, Shoot the Sun Down. Very good film here. One of my favorites, The Unholy Four. Love that movie. Here is Valdez is Coming, starring Burt Lancaster. And the last one for Kino is Charles Bronson in The White Buffalo. So that was my little Kino collection. Now we'll get into just like regular Blu-rays. I don't have a whole lot of them. It goes from here to about right there is all the Blu-rays I have. The rest are DVD. So again, I do have these alphabetized, but I started with the numbers, and this is the 3:10 to Yuma remake, starring Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. Very good film. Here's the Grindhouse releasing edition of the Big Gundown. I think this is a 4-disc set. It comes with 2 Blu-rays, a DVD, and a CD soundtrack. And I also have the LP, the record, and that's a great, not only is that a great movie, but the soundtrack is excellent. Here's Bone Tomahawk. This one took a little bit to grow on me the first time I saw it. I didn't care for it. I think I've seen it 3 times total now, and I gotta say I do enjoy the film. It's kind of horror / western. I really like that one now. Here's Coming At Ya, or Coming At Ya. One of the best westerns of all time. Dances with Wolves, the 20th anniversary edition. Here is Duck You Sucker, also known as A Fistful of Dynamite. Quentin Tarantino's Django, Django Unchained. The twin billing of The Grand Duel and Keoma. Both of those are excellent movies. I love both of those films. Here is The Great Silence, starring Klaus Kinski. I like the atmosphere in this film. I imported this one from Japan because it doesn't have a Blu-ray release yet in the US. And the picture looks pretty good. It's decent. It's very enjoyable. The atmosphere is what really makes this film, though. It's all wintry. It's like snowy settings in winter. Really enjoy that film. And of course, Kinski plays a bad guy, as usual. Here is the Raro edition of Hanging for Django. Here is a show that I really enjoyed, but the ending of it kind of stunk, I thought. I wish they wouldn't have ended it the way they did. This was Hell on Wheels. And I really loved the first season. And then, if you guys haven't seen it, I don't want to give any spoilers. But I didn't like what they did with the fair hair maiden of the West. I didn't like what they did with her character. And so that's season 1. Season 2. Season 3, I didn't like what they did with his character either. I don't want to give any spoilers. In case you guys haven't seen this, is definitely worth watching. But those are the 4 seasons. I can't remember if there was a 5th. I did see them all on TV, but I can't remember if there was 5 or 4 seasons. Here is a spaghetti western double feature, The Last Gun and $4 of Revenge. This was really cheap. I bought this at FYE for like $2, I think, for 2 movies. Here is the remake of The Magnificent Seven. It was okay. It was pretty good. It was better than average. It was decent. Here's the original, The Magnificent Seven. This is the Magnificent Seven collection, which comes with The Magnificent Seven, Return of the Magnificent Seven, Guns of the Magnificent Seven, and The Magnificent Seven Ride. And all of those are excellent films. And that's a really nice addition to get, and it's very inexpensive. You can probably pick that up for about $20, $24 for the whole set. Here's Richard Harris in A Man Called Horse. Here's The Man with No Name trilogy, Sergio Leone collection. Excellent movies, excellent series. This one comes with a fistful of dollars for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Love that set. I've had this one for years. When did it come out? Probably, it says 2010. I think I bought that on launch day, or pretty close to it. Another good one here. This is called My Name is Nobody. This was a blind buy for me. I bought this a couple years ago at Best Buy because I love Henry Fonda, and this movie was really good. It's kind of a comedy. I thought the soundtrack was really good and the acting was good. And this is the 40th anniversary edition of it. Music by Ennio Morricone, and it was directed by Tonino Valeri, who also did Day of Wrath and My Dear Killer. But this was a very good film. I enjoyed it a lot. I really recommend My Name is Nobody if you guys haven't seen it yet. Here is Once Upon a Time in the West. Claudia Cardinal, Henry Fonda, Jason Robards, Charles Bronson, another Sergio Leone film. This is probably one of the top 5 spaghetti westerns of all time. And it's always seems to be on a lot of people's lists for best westerns. And I have to agree, I love the movie. I have it about 5 times in my collection, as you'll see. That's just the regular Amore case of it. Here is the Steelbook from the UK. I think this was from Zavvi. This was the Steelbook that came with the slipcover. I'm keeping it sealed just for collector's purposes, but this is a damn good movie. And that's a really nice addition there. Next one was a pretty good film called The Proposition, starring Guy Pearce. Here is Red Sun, starring Charles Bronson. Ursula Andress is also in here. Here is Tepepa, starring Tomas Milian. Orson Welles is in here. Very good film. One of my favorites of all time. This is Tombstone. This is the Steelbook, the 1-disc edition. The next one is the Trinity 2-pack, which comes with They Call Me Trinity and Trinity Is Still My Name from Hen's Tooth Video. Nice little addition there. Here is Westworld. I don't know if this is really considered a Western. I just put it in here with my collection. Some people would say it's sci-fi or a sci-fi Western, but this is the original. I know they have a show that came out recently. I haven't seen it yet. I'm trying to see what was the year on this one. 1973 this came out, starring Yul Brynner. And that was it for the Blu-rays. Actually, I do have a couple more. Let me see here. I got to get out my little cheat pad here because this next little section from here to here are all German imports. And they don't have English titles, so I had to write them down so I didn't forget. And this first one is called... Wait, I think I got these backwards. Yeah, I do have these backwards. So the first one, we're going to go a little bit backwards here. This is a Peter Lee Lawrence film called Days of Violence from 1967. The next one is called Four Candles for My Colt from 1971. This one is called A Colt in the Hand of the Devil from 1972. The next one is called Specialists from 1969. This one is called The Ugly Ones from 1966, starring Tomas Milian. This one is called The Silent Stranger, starring Tony Anthony. And this last one here is called Death Sentence from 1968. So those were the DVD imports. Now this next little stack here are the Blu-ray imports. And let's see if I got these in the right order. I'm not sure now. I think, well, hold on a second. Okay, I got them backwards again. This first one here is called Man of the East from 1972, the comedy western. The next one is called The Mercenary, starring Franco Nero from 1968. The next one is a Lee Van Cleef film called Blood Money. This one is called Shoot the Living, Pray for the Dead from 1971. And this last one is called Last of the Bad Men, starring George Hilton. George Hilton. These are German imports. So that was my little cheat sheet for the imports. Now, this next little 3 box set editions are probably my second favorite show of all time behind Sopranos. I love Deadwood. The thing about the comparison between Sopranos and Deadwood to me is I watched Sopranos all the way through twice, because I watched the whole show on HBO when it first came out, and then I bought it on DVD. I bought all the DVD sets and I watched it from episode 1 all the way through again. And I don't know if I could watch it again. I have since purchased the Blu-rays and I tried to get into it again for the 3rd time and I just couldn't get into it, but I could easily watch this over and over and over. And I do love The Sopranos. That's my favorite show of all time, but I think as far as rewatchability, I think Deadwood would take Sopranos in that aspect. But here is season 1. These came in really nice box sets, and these are the DVDs. It comes in like this nice digipack. Pardon the dust, it's a little dusty on the top there. These have been sitting on the shelf for a while. But you get to see all the characters, and I'm not going to pull everything out, but it's a really nice set. And this is another case of the DVD sets are better than the Blu-ray sets, kind of like the Nightmare on Elm Street DVD box set. And then it came out with the little crappy Amaray case with all the discs, you know, in just one little thin box compared to the huge box that the DVD set had. I will upgrade this to Blu-ray at some point, but I will definitely never sell these. These are too nice. They look like books and they sit on your bookshelf to look like books. Well, anyway, here's season 2. And Ian McShane, who played Al Swearingen, stole the show. I thought he was easily the best character in the show. Seth Bullock, played by Timothy Olyphant, was excellent. I mean, there were so many good, memorable characters. That's what I loved about the show. The characters in the show and the storyline. And it was based on a true story of Deadwood, South Dakota. I believe it was South Dakota, right? Yeah, the Black Hills of South Dakota, 1876 is when it takes place. And this was a shame when the show went off the air after the 3rd season, because they were just picking up steam. Every season got better as it went along. There was I think there was like a money struggle between the actors and the director and producers, and it just kind of ended. It didn't have an ending. And for a while they were talking about making a movie to kind of tie up the loose ends, and who knows if that's ever going to happen. But the longer they wait, the more doubtful it is. So that is the end of shelf 3. We have 2 more to go. And I'm going to have to get off my chair for these bottom 2 shelves. So these are all DVDs. And again, they're alphabetized, and I start with the numbers. You'll probably notice some doubles because I upgraded from DVD to Blu-ray and I just kept the DVDs. So here is 3:10 to Yuma. I also have that on Blu-ray. Here's A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die. Appaloosa. I got that at the Best Buy bargain bin, I guess, if you want to call it that, for $5. Here is Banditos. Here's the, let's see, Spaghetti Western double feature with Boot Hill and Django the Bastard. Here's Broken Trail. I got this in a Walmart dump bin for $5. Here's a John Wayne classic called Chisholm. Here is a Clint Eastwood Western Icon collection. Comes with 3 films, High Plains Drifter, Joe Kidd, and 2 Mules for Sister Sarah. And this one is the Clint Eastwood Westerner. You get The Outlaw Josie Wales, Pale Rider, and Unforgiven. Here is the Django 6-movie collection. You get The Man Called Django, or A Man Called Django, Django the Runner, Hanging for Django, Django A Bullet for You, Return of Django, and Pistol for Django. I think these come, let me see here for a second. It's a 2-disc set. It comes on a swing tray, so they jam 3 movies per disc. So don't expect a whole lot for quality, but you do get the 6 movies. Here is a Fistful of Trinity. This is a 4-movie collection on a flipper disc, so you get 2 movies per side. And of course these star Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer. This one's out of print now, kind of hard to find. But you get Watch Out, We're Mad, 2 Missionaries, Soldier of Fortune, and Aladdin. Here's another one that's out of print. This is the Great Silence, Sergio Corbucci. This is a Fantoma release. Here's a great show. This is Gunsmoke. This is the complete first season. And then here is Gunsmoke seasons 1 through 4. And believe it or not, here I'll show you guys something. I bought this one about 3 years ago, and I think I paid about, it was like 10 or 15 bucks. And then a few years later, when this came out, you get seasons 1 through 4 for about 20 bucks. So you get 4 seasons for like about I think it was $5 more. The next one is a Charles Bronson film called Guns of Diablo. Let's see if I can find a year on this one. I'll have to look it up on IMDb. Oh, 1964 it came out. And it has a young Kurt Russell. The next one is another John Wayne classic. This is called Hondo, the special edition, special collector's edition in full screen. This was a Walmart dump bin buy. Here is How the West Was Won, 3-disc special edition with a slipcover. It's a nice edition. And then here is How the West Was Won. This was a TV series. This was the complete first season. This was a really good show. And it was kind of hard to find this one. The show came out in 1975, I believe. It was 1977 maybe. If you guys can get your hands on that, this is a really good show. Here is a John Wayne box set. This has been in my collection for years and years. You get Rio Bravo, which is one of the best westerns ever made, and you get The Searchers. Let's see if I can pull these out. These come in really nice digipacks. So here is Rio Bravo. There you see John Wayne, Dean Martin, and Ricky Nelson. And then on the inside, these are these are DVDs, by the way. Let's see if I can pull these out for you guys, because it comes with a book, and I wanted to show you. I thought it was a book. Oh, it's art cards. I'm not going to pull all those out. It's art cards in that one. And here's the book. I think there's actually 2 books in there, 2 booklets, which are really, really nice. Really high quality stuff. And then it comes in this digipack. I'm not going to open up The Searchers. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. And you get disc 1 is the movie, disc 2 is special features. I would like to see a nice Blu-ray box set of these movies, or any of the John Wayne movies. I guess I'll take care of those off camera so we can keep moving along here. The next one is a John Wayne collection that comes in this nice tin. There's 15 movies, and I'll just read through them really quick. You get, let's see if I can get that glare off there. You get Blue Steel, Dawn Rider, Lawless Range, Lucky Texan, Man from Utah, Texas Terror, Rainbow Valley, Star Packer, The Desert Trail, Riders of Destiny, Randy Rides Again, The Trail Beyond, West of the Divide, Winds and the Wastelands and Paradise Canyon. And when you open up the tin, you get a really nice book. It's John Wayne, The King of the Old West. And it's probably, I don't know, 30 pages maybe, 25 pages. And then you get this digipack. And you got, one of the discs was out. I think it's a 5-disc set. So, really nice edition. Nice little tin, and I think I paid like about $10 for this, because it's some of his lesser known films, but it's a nice little set to have. So I'm gonna put this back up here to keep the other DVDs from falling. We got Keoma 2, starring Franco Nero. John Saxon's also in there. Another excellent series right here, or yeah, this was kind of like a mini series. This was the original Lonesome Dove collection. This is the limited edition set. Probably one of the best Western shows ever, I think. I used to watch that with my dad when I was a kid. And then years later, Comanche Moon came out, and this is the second chapter in the Lonesome Dove saga. And then some years after that, Lonesome Dove, the series, came out. This is a 6-disc set with 21 episodes. The complete season 1. I'm not exactly sure how many seasons they had. Here's a nice little collectible, nice little digipack. Sergio Leone presents My Name Is Nobody. And I think the second one was called Nobody Is Still My Name, something like that. It's a 4-disc collection. And this is a German edition, I believe. That's a nice little set to have. And then here is the special collector's edition with never seen before exclusive DVD features. Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West. This is the digipack edition of the film. And it just has, it's a 2-disc set, and it has a booklet. And it's really nice. I like this little edition here. And then the set that came out earlier, or previous to that digipack, was the Once Upon a Time in the West Fat Pack, and this is now out of print. Here is a 5-part documentary called Outlaws and Gunslingers. And here is one that I bought from Blockbuster when they were closing. This is the 2-disc special edition of Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. It's a Sam Peckinpah film starring James Coburn and Chris Christopherson and Bob Dylan. So that was the end of shelf 4. And now we'll get into the shelf 5, which is not even a complete shelf, but we'll wrap this up here. Oh, I forgot, I do have a couple other things to show you on the very top too. So actually we have like a shelf and a half left. So let me get in here. This is the Clint Eastwood Rawhide, seasons 1 through 3, when he played Rowdy Yates, and I think he was only in the first 3 seasons. This was a Sam's Club exclusive. Over 73 hours of Rawhide. The next one is, this one's kind of hard to find. It's out of print. It's called The Spaghetti West, an IFC original documentary. And it's a really good documentary about these Spaghetti West films and the history of them. And it was put out by Blue Underground. Here's a really nice set. This is called The Best of Spaghetti Westerns, in the tradition of the good, the bad, and the ugly, over 29 hours on 10 discs. I'm not going to read all of the titles, but if you guys want to pause there, let me see if I can get in a little bit better for you. There are some really good and rare titles in this box set. And this was put out by a company called Timeless Video, which I believe is a subsidiary of Scream Factory. I think Scream Factory owns Timeless Video. So the quality is very good. And this set was put out in 2011. Here is the Tony Anthony The Stranger Collection. Comes in this nice fat pack. It's a 3-disc set. Here is the digipack of Tombstone, and this thing had some miles on it. I've watched this many, many times. Here is the Trinity Twin Pack again. I have upgraded this to Blu-ray. I just haven't gotten rid of the DVDs yet. Here's a series you guys might be interested in. This is called Steve McQueen, Wanted Dead or Alive. This is Season 1, 36 episodes. And Wanted Dead or Alive Season 2, 32 episodes. Here is the 20 movie Western pack, which has all of those titles. Here, let me pull it off to the side here. You got Massacre Time, Some Dollars for Django, Little Rita, Light the Fuse, Sartana is Coming, Holy Water Joe, Blood Money, Bounty Killer, Dig Your Grave, Sabata is Coming, Grand Duel, Santana Killed Them All, Buddy Goes West, Death Rides a Horse, Kid Vengeance, Buffalo Bill, Sartana in the Valley of Death, Sundance Cassidy and Butch the Kid, Wanted, Life is Tough, Price of Power, and God's Gun, starring Lee Van Cleef. So there are some rare ones in there too. It's a nice little set. And then, let me see. I got stuff falling all over here, but this was put out by Echo Bridge. Okay. If this thing will just work with me here, we're almost done. This one is Yankee, a film by Tinto Brass. He is more known for his like TNA movies, but from what I hear, this is a good little Western. So I have yet to check it out, but I know Tinto Brass likes to show a lot of bare-breasted women and stuff like that in his films. Here is a movie that was made by a local filmmaker here in the state of Wisconsin, and this was one that I crowdfunded. And this is called Yellow Hill, A Stranger's Tale, starring Bai Ling, and the crew signed it up for me. And there's Young Guns. That is just the special edition DVD with slipcover. And then I have some Code Red stuff that is, you know what, here, hold on a second. I'm not going to fight this stuff. These are all going to be going back into a different portion of my collection. I just brought these out to show you guys. I have the Cutthroats 9, which is one of the more gory westerns you'll find. It's got some pretty gross, gory deaths in there and stuff like that. Here is A Long Ride from Hell. Here is Vengeance. It's an Antonio Margheriti film starring Richard Harrison. There's the DVD. Spine 93. Spine 114. Here's also A Long Ride from Hell from Code Red. It's out of print. Here are my Blue Underground. This is my Blue Underground stuff right here. And the first one is the 4-pack. This is called the Spaghetti Western Collection. You get Menaja, Run Man Run, Django Kill, and Django. So that's a nice little set. Get Bullet for the General, Compañeros, starring Franco Nero and Tomas Milian, filmed by Sergio Corbucci. The original and the best and the only Django, in my opinion, Franco Nero. Django Kill, If You Live, Shoot, Tomas Milian. It's kind of a horror western. Here is Get Mean, starring Tony Anthony, 2-disc limited edition. And the last Blue Underground is a Franco Nero film called Man, Pride, Vengeance. With Django Comes Death. I have a couple of 88 films from the Italian collection. This is Django Kill, If You Live, Shoot. I'm not going to pull that out. Then you have Navajo Joe, starring Burt Reynolds. And The Mercenary, starring Franco Nero. So now, I'm going to take a sip of tea really quick. I'm going to show you these 3 stacks up here, which, let me see here. What's the best way to do this? These 2 stacks here are from my Twilight Time collection, and I'm just going to kind of show these off really quick. This is Broken Lance, Cowboy, Comes a Horseman, Chado's Land, starring Charles Bronson, From Noon Till 3, starring Charles Bronson, Hombre, starring Paul Newman. This is one I have yet to see, but this is one that's high on my list. Looking forward to checking that one out. James Garner, Jason Robards, Hour of the Gun. Burt Lancaster, Lee J. Cobb, Lawman. The Man from Laramie. Looking forward to checking this one out. I always did like James Stewart. Here's a twin billing of James Garner. Support your local sheriff and support your local gunfighter. This is now sold out of print. I'm not sure how many of these are sold out, but I know that one is for sure. This one's called Two Rode Together. And this one has James Stewart and Richard Widmark. It's a John Ford film. So that's a good one. And Jeff Bridges and Ellen Barkin in Wild Bill and Calamity Jane. And then this little stack right here is my Criterion stuff that I have that's Western. This is also going to go in a different portion of my collection. I just wanted to pull it out. This is a Howard Hawks film called Red River, starring John Wayne and Montgomery Clift. And this is one where John Wayne is actually the bad guy. The film is from 1948. And it comes with a digipack with the movies in it. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo, I believe it is. And then it also has the book called Blazing Guns on the Chisholm Trail, which the movie was made after the book. So you can actually read the book and check that out. Here's a John Ford film called Stagecoach. Here is the original 310 to Yuma, Delmer Davies film. This one was from 1957. Next one is called Jubal, another Delmer Davies film. This is McCabe and Mrs. Miller. This one is called My Darling Clementine. Love Henry Fonda, one of the best ever. And finally, the One-Eyed Jacks, directed by Marlon Brando, also starring Marlon Brando. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know which movies I'm missing in my collection that I should really pick up. And hope you enjoyed it. Leave any comments down below. I will answer every comment. If you haven't subbed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give it a like if you liked it. And other than that, take care, guys. I will see you in the next video.
Whoa.